The autumn leaves crunched beneath Zara Williams' sneakers as she walked down Maple Street, her golden retriever Max trotting beside her. At 16, Zara had the kind of bright smile that could light up any room, and today was no different. She hummed softly, earbuds in, completely unaware that her life was about to change forever. "Come on, Max," she whispered, tugging gently on his leash. "Let's head to the park before it gets dark." Max wagged his tail enthusiastically, his tongue hanging out as he panted from their walk. The dog had been Zara's companion since she was 10, a gift from her parents after she'd begged for months. Now 6 years later, Max was more than a pet. He was family. The police cruiser appeared seemingly out of nowhere, its engine rumbling as it pulled up beside the sidewalk. 2 officers stepped out, their hands already resting on their weapons. Officer Kane, a tall man with cold blue eyes, approached first. His partner, Officer Mills, hung back but kept his hand near his gun. "Hey, you," Kane called out sharply. "Stop right there." Zara pulled out her earbuds, confusion washing over her face. "Me? What did I do?" "We got reports of a dangerous dog in this area," Kane said, his voice aggressive. "That your animal, Max?" Zara looked down at her gentle retriever, who was now sitting calmly at her feet. "He's not dangerous. He's the sweetest dog you'll ever meet. That's what they all say," Mills muttered from behind Kane. Max sensed the tension and stood up, positioning himself protectively in front of Zara. He didn't bark, didn't growl, just stood there like the loyal companion he'd always been. "See, the dog's aggressive," Kane shouted, drawing his weapon. "Get back." "No, wait," Zara screamed, her heart pounding. "He's protecting me. He's not going to hurt anyone." But her words fell on deaf ears. In one horrifying moment, the crack of gunfire split the afternoon air. Max yelped once, a sound that would haunt Zara for the rest of her life, before collapsing onto the concrete. "Max!" Zara dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face as she cradled her dying dog. Blood seeped through her fingers as she pressed them against his wound, desperately trying to stop the bleeding. "No, no, no. Please, Max, stay with me." The light in Max's brown eyes faded as Zara held him close, her sobs echoing through the quiet neighborhood street. Officer Kane holstered his weapon with casual indifference, as if he'd just swatted a fly instead of killing an innocent animal. "Threat neutralized," he said into his radio, his tone completely devoid of emotion. "You killed him." Zara's voice cracked as she looked up at Kane, her face streaked with tears and Max's blood. "He wasn't doing anything wrong, he was just protecting me." "That dog was aggressive," Kane replied coldly, pulling out his notepad. "I feared for my safety and the safety of civilians in the area. It's all justified." Mills nodded in agreement, crossing his arms. "Standard procedure. The animal posed a clear and present danger." "That's a lie." Zara stood up, her hands shaking with rage and grief. "Max has never hurt anyone in his entire life. He's been to the vet, the groomer, the park. Everyone knows he's gentle. Listen, kid." Kane stepped closer, his voice taking on a threatening tone. "You need to calm down before you say something you'll regret. We're the police. We know a dangerous situation when we see one." By now people were starting to gather. Mrs. Chen from the corner store had come out, her phone already recording. 2 teenagers on bikes had stopped to watch. Mr. Rodriguez from across the street was walking over, concern etched on his weathered face. "I saw the whole thing," Mrs. Chen called out, still filming. "That dog wasn't aggressive. He was just sitting there." "The dog was protecting the girl," added one of the teenagers. "He didn't even bark." Kane's face reddened as he realized more witnesses were arriving. "All of you need to disperse immediately. This is an active police investigation." "Investigation?" Zara laughed bitterly, still cradling Max's lifeless body. "What's to investigate? You shot my dog for no reason. I want your badge numbers. I want to file a complaint." Mills stepped forward menacingly. "You want to be careful about making accusations, little girl. Filing false reports against police officers is a serious crime. False reports, Mr. Rodriguez spoke up, his voice steady and strong. We all saw what happened here. That animal did nothing to warrant being shot. I said disperse. Kane shouted, his hand moving back toward his weapon. This is your final warning. But the crowd wasn't backing down. More neighbors had appeared, drawn by the commotion. Some were recording with their phones. Others were taking photos. The circle of witnesses was growing larger by the minute. You can't intimidate all of us, Mrs. Chen said firmly. We know what we saw. Kane and Mills exchanged nervous glances. This wasn't going according to plan. What should have been a simple incident was turning into a public relations nightmare. I'm calling my father, Zara announced, reaching for her phone with blood-stained fingers. He needs to know what you've done. Go ahead, Kane sneered. Call whoever you want. It won't change the facts. But as Zara dialed the number, Kane had no idea that he'd just made the biggest mistake of his career. Zara's fingers trembled as she pressed her father's contact. The phone rang twice before a familiar, warm voice answered. Zara, sweetheart, what's wrong? You sound upset. Dad, she whispered, her voice breaking. They killed Max. The police, they just shot him for no reason. The line went silent for a moment. When Marcus Williams spoke again, his voice had completely changed. Gone was the gentle father, replaced by something much more powerful and dangerous. Where are you right now? Maple Street, near the park. Dad, there are witnesses everywhere. People saw what happened. These officers are lying, saying Max was dangerous, but he wasn't. He was just protecting me. Stay exactly where you are, Marcus commanded. Don't move. Don't say another word to those officers. Do you understand me? Yes, but Dad. Zara, listen to me very carefully. I'm sending backup. I'm sending investigators, and I'm coming myself. Those officers have no idea what they've just done. Kane, who had been eavesdropping on the conversation, smirked. Your daddy coming to save you. That's real cute, kid. Zara looked up at him with tear-filled eyes that now held something new, something that made Kane's smirk falter. Officer Kane, she said slowly, reading his name tag. Badge number 4729. You just killed the mayor's daughter's dog. The color drained from Kane's face. Mills stepped forward, confusion written across his features. What did you just say? Kane whispered. My father is Marcus Williams, Mayor Marcus Williams. Zara's voice grew stronger with each word. And you just made the worst mistake of your entire career. Kane's radio crackled to life. All units, this is dispatch. Mayor Williams is en route to Maple Street. Repeat, the mayor is responding to an incident on Maple Street. Mills grabbed Kane's arm. Did she just say her father is the mayor? The crowd of witnesses had grown even larger, and now they were all staring at the two officers with expressions ranging from satisfaction to outright anger. Phone cameras continued recording every moment. Kane's hands began to shake as the full weight of the situation hit him. He just killed the mayor's family pet in front of dozens of witnesses. The black sedan arrived within minutes, followed by two police supervisor vehicles and an internal affairs car. Mayor Marcus Williams stepped out of his vehicle like a man on a mission. At 45, he was an imposing figure with salt and pepper hair and eyes that could cut through steel. Today those eyes burned with a father's rage barely contained beneath a politician's composure. Zara, he called out, rushing to his daughter who was still holding Max's body. He knelt beside her, wrapping her in his arms while carefully avoiding disturbing the crime scene. They said he was dangerous, Dad. Zara sobbed into his shoulder. But everyone here knows that's a lie. Marcus looked up at the crowd of witnesses, then at the two officers who were now standing stiffly at attention. Captain Rodriguez from Internal Affairs approached, clipboard in hand. Mr. Mayor, we need to secure the scene and begin our investigation immediately. Captain Rodriguez said professionally. Absolutely. I want everything documented, every witness statement, every piece of evidence, and most importantly, Marcus stood up, his voice carrying across the street. "I want those body camera recordings reviewed immediately." Kane's face went pale. "Sir, our cameras may have malfunctioned." "Convenient," Marcus replied coldly. "Captain Rodriguez, please ensure that both officers surrender their equipment for immediate technical analysis. If there's footage, we'll find it." Within the hour, the street had transformed into a full investigation zone. Crime scene tape cordoned off the area. Forensic photographers documented everything, and witness statements were being taken systematically. The local news had arrived, their cameras capturing every moment. Captain Rodriguez approached Marcus with a tablet in his hands. "Mr. Mayor, we've recovered the body camera footage. You need to see this." The video was crystal clear. It showed Max sitting calmly at Zara's feet, then standing protectively in front of her when the officers approached aggressively. There was no barking, no lunging, no threatening behavior whatsoever. The dog simply positioned himself between his owner and what he perceived as a threat. "This footage completely contradicts their report," Captain Rodriguez said grimly. "But there's more. We ran background checks on both officers." Marcus's jaw tightened as he read the information on the tablet. "Kane has 3 prior complaints for excessive force, all involving minorities. Mills has 2 complaints for racial profiling. Why are these officers still on the street?" "Internal Affairs is investigating that as well, sir. It appears their supervising sergeant has been dismissing complaints without proper investigation." By evening, the story had exploded across social media. The hashtag #SaveMaxJustice was trending nationally. News stations were running the body camera footage, alongside interviews with witnesses. Civil rights activists were calling for immediate action. Marcus held a press conference on the steps of City Hall as the sun set. "Today my daughter experienced the kind of injustice that too many families in our community face every day. But this ends now. I'm announcing a complete overhaul of our police oversight procedures, mandatory bias training for all officers, and the immediate suspension of officers Kane and Mills pending criminal charges." Reporter Sarah Chen pushed forward with her microphone. "Mr. Mayor, what about the supervising officers who allowed this pattern of behavior to continue? They will be held accountable as well. This isn't just about 2 bad cops. This is about a system that failed to protect our community from officers who should never have been in uniform." The crowd behind the reporters erupted in applause. Justice was finally within reach. The police union's response came swift and vicious. By the next morning, Union President Tom Bradley was on every news channel, his face red with indignation as he defended the officers. "Officers Kane and Mills are decorated veterans who have served this community for over a decade," Bradley declared on Channel 7 News. "They made a split-second decision to protect public safety. This rush to judgment is nothing more than political theater by a mayor who's using his own family to attack hard-working police officers." The union's strategy became clear within hours. Anonymous sources began feeding stories to sympathetic reporters, painting Marcus as an opportunistic politician and questioning his family's credibility. Social media accounts with fake profiles started spreading rumors about Zara's behavior at school, claiming she was a troublemaker who had trained her dog to be aggressive. "They're trying to destroy my daughter's reputation to save 2 corrupt cops," Marcus said during an emergency meeting with his staff. "This is exactly what every family goes through when they dare to speak up." The intimidation escalated quickly. Late-night phone calls to the Williams home with heavy breathing and hang-ups. Threatening letters slipped under their door. Someone spray-painted snitch across their garage door in the middle of the night. Zara found a note in her school locker that made her blood run cold. "Drop the charges, or next time it won't be just a dog," it read in block letters. But the community refused to be silenced. Mrs. Chen organized a neighborhood watch to patrol the Williams Street. "Mr. Rodriguez started a petition demanding justice for Max that gathered 5,000 signatures in 2 days. The teenagers who had witnessed the shooting created a social media campaign that went viral, sharing the body camera footage and witness testimonies. "We Stand with Zara" rallies began appearing throughout the city. People carried signs with Max's picture, demanding accountability and police reform. Local churches opened their doors for community meetings, where residents shared their own stories of police misconduct. Pastor Johnson from Mount Hope Baptist Church addressed a packed sanctuary. "This isn't about one family or one dog. This is about a system that has protected bad actors for too long, while our community suffers in silence." The union's attacks were backfiring spectacularly. Every attempt to discredit the Williams family only strengthened community resolve. Every threatening phone call was reported to the FBI. Every lie was quickly exposed by witnesses who had been there. Bradley realized too late that he'd picked the wrong fight. The mayor had resources, the community had passion, and the evidence was ironclad. The blue wall of silence was cracking, and there was no way to repair it. 3 weeks after Max's death, federal agent Lisa Martinez arrived in town with a team of investigators. The Department of Justice had opened a civil rights investigation into the police department's pattern of discriminatory practices, using Max's case as the cornerstone of their inquiry. This investigation will examine not just the actions of officers Kane and Mills, but the entire culture that allowed their behavior to flourish unchecked. Agent Martinez announced at a packed city council meeting. Within days, both officers were formally charged with animal cruelty, filing false police reports, and civil rights violations. Kane and Mills were led away in handcuffs, their mugshots broadcast across national news. The supervising sergeant who had buried previous complaints was also arrested for obstruction of justice. Marcus used the momentum to implement sweeping reforms. The new Community Oversight Board included residents from every neighborhood, with real power to investigate complaints and discipline officers. Body cameras became mandatory with tamper-proof technology. Every officer would undergo bias training and psychological evaluation. But perhaps the most remarkable transformation was Zara herself. The shy teenager who had simply been walking her dog had become a powerful voice for justice. She spoke at town hall, testified before the state legislature, and started a scholarship fund for young activists in Max's name. "Max can't come back," Zara said, at a rally 6 months later, her voice strong and clear. "But his death won't be meaningless if it prevents other families from experiencing what we went through." The Community Healing Center that opened in Max's memory became a symbol of hope. Families who had suffered police misconduct found support and resources. Young people learned their rights and how to document interactions with law enforcement. Officer Kane was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Mills received 2 years and probation. The police union president resigned in disgrace. Most importantly, not a single complaint of excessive force had been filed against the department in 6 months since the reforms began. On the anniversary of Max's death, hundreds gathered in the park where he used to play. They planted a memorial garden and unveiled a statue of a golden retriever with the inscription, "Max Williams, a good dog who changed everything."